seems to break every rule of the sky, whether taken literally or semi. Imagine discovering a place that seems to break every rule of nature. A place so strange that for over a century, scientists have tried to explain it. Native American tribes have considered it sacred, and millions of people online have become convinced it hides one of the greatest secrets in human history. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary mountain. But then you notice something impossible. Perfect vertical columns, a completely flat top, and a shape that doesn't seem to belong anywhere else on Earth. This is Devil's Tower. Rising over 867 feet, 265 meters above the surrounding landscape in northeastern Wyoming, this colossal rock dominates the horizon like it was placed there on purpose. But here's the question. What exactly are we looking at? According to geologists, Devil's Tower is an ancient igneous rock formation created millions of years ago by molten magma beneath the Earth's surface. Simple enough. Except not everyone agrees. Over the last few years, an extraordinary theory has spread across the internet. A theory that has divided millions of people. Some believe Devil's Tower isn't a mountain at all. They claim it's something far more unbelievable. The fossilized stump of a gigantic tree. A tree so enormous that, if it ever existed, it would completely change everything we think we know about Earth's past. Sounds impossible. Maybe. But the people who support this theory believe they have evidence. They point to the strange vertical grooves covering the tower, its perfectly flattened top, and they ask a question that refuses to disappear. Why does it look so much like a tree stump? Of course, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and that's exactly what we're going to examine today. We'll explore the ancient legends surrounding this mysterious place. We'll uncover the scientific explanation accepted by geologists. We'll dive into one of the internet's most controversial theories. And by the end of this documentary, you'll have seen the evidence from both sides. Whether Devil's Tower is simply an incredible geological wonder, or something far more mysterious. We'll let you decide. Because sometimes, the greatest mysteries aren't the ones we've solved. They're the ones we're still arguing about. Let's begin. Before we dive into the theories, let's first understand what Devil's Tower really is. Because no matter what you believe, one thing is certain. There is simply no other place quite like it. Located in northeastern Wyoming, Devil's Tower rises dramatically from the surrounding landscape, reaching a total elevation of about 5,112 feet, or 1,559 meters above sea level. From the base to its summit, the tower stands roughly 867 feet, or 265 meters tall, about the height of a 60-story skyscraper. What makes it so unusual isn't just its height, it's the shape. Unlike most mountains, Devil's Tower appears to burst straight out of the ground. There are no sloping sides, no sharp peaks, and no gradual climb to the top. Instead, its walls are covered by thousands of long, perfectly vertical columns that almost look as if they were carved by an enormous machine. From a distance, many people compare it to a giant tree stump. Others say it resembles an ancient fortress, and some believe it doesn't look natural at all. The closer you look, the stranger it becomes. Today, Devil's Tower attracts hundreds of thousands of visitors every year. Rock climbers travel from around the world hoping to reach its summit, while photographers wait hours just to capture the perfect sunset behind its massive silhouette. But long before tourists arrived, long before roads, long before the United States even existed, this place already held incredible importance. For thousands of years, many Native American tribes considered this tower sacred. To them, it wasn't simply a rock. It was a place of prayer, a place of ceremonies, a place deeply connected to their history and beliefs. Different tribes have different names for the tower, many of which translate to something like Bear's Lodge or Bear's House. And perhaps the most famous legend explains exactly why. According to one traditional story, several young girls were playing in the forest when they were suddenly chased by an enormous bear. They ran as fast as they could, But the bear kept getting closer. With nowhere left to escape, they climbed onto a small rock and prayed for help. Then something extraordinary happened. The rock began rising into the sky. Higher and higher and higher. The bear tried desperately to reach them. It clawed at the sides of the rising rock with tremendous force. Its giant claws carved deep vertical marks all around the surface. But the rock continued to rise beyond the bear's reach. Eventually, the girls were saved. Some versions of the story say they were later transformed into stars, becoming part of the night sky. Whether taken literally or semi.
Symbolically, this legend has been passed down through generations and remains an important part of the cultural identity of many Native American communities. Interestingly, if you stand at the base of Devil's Tower today and look up, those claw-like grooves are impossible to ignore. Of course, geologists have a very different explanation for them. But before we get to science, there's one historical detail that surprises many people. In 1906, President Theodore Roosevelt declared Devil's Tower the very first national monument in United States history. Not the Grand Canyon, not Yellowstone, not the Statue of Liberty. Devil's Tower came first. Why? Because even over a century ago, people recognized that this place was unlike anything else on Earth. But that recognition also sparked a question that still fascinates visitors today. How could nature create something so perfectly symmetrical? Was it simply an incredible geological accident? Or is there more to the story? To answer that question, we first need to understand what scientists believe actually happened here millions of years ago. And that's where the mystery becomes even more fascinating. Whether Devil's Tower is simply an extraordinary geological formation or something we still don't fully understand, no one can deny its mystery. For over a century, it has fascinated scientists, inspired Native American legends, and sparked endless debates across the internet. Maybe the truth is exactly what science tells us, or maybe there's still more to discover. But now the question is yours. What do you think you're really looking at?